Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our latest webinar. Today, we're going to be focused on ClubV1 finance, annual bills, and raising payments. So just before we start, same as last time, if you were in our webinars last week, a bit of housekeeping to start with. We've muted everyone. Everyone's camera is off. On the right-hand side of your screen, or at the bottom if you're on a mobile device, you will be able to ask questions as we go through the session. I'll introduce my colleagues Darren and Matt in a second, who are on hand to answer those questions as we go through the demonstration. We also have a handout, so you'll be able to access your handouts on the right hand side of your screen or at the bottom if you're on a mobile. Those are all the lecture slides from today, so please download those and you can refer to them at any point after the session. And lastly, at the end of the webinar, there will be a quick survey for you to fill out, so please take some time. Just a couple of questions, so please fill out those so we can gather your feedback and we can look at bringing some more webinars to you in the future. I'm just going to introduce the room. We've got Darren Wood and Matt Bergh with us today. They're on hand to answer your questions. Darren and Matt are going to introduce themselves now.
Hi everyone, my name is Darren Wood, the Relationship Manager for Club Systems. I think quite a few of you may have known or met me before doing our annual roadshows, which would normally happen at this time of year, but for obvious reasons it isn't a normal year, and we're trying to interact with people by doing some of these webinars and helping people get the best use out of the Club Systems software that you've got from us. So I'll be sat in the background along with Matt Bergh, who's an account manager for the North, answering hopefully as many as we can. Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Darren. Matt, if you want to come and say a few words.
Hi everyone, I'm Matt Bergh, the account manager for the North, as Darren mentioned. Looking at the attendees list, I do know a few of you, but not all, and I will be answering questions as we go. If there's anything you need to ask, please do. All right, thank you very much.
Brilliant, thanks, Matt. So yeah, please do ask some questions as we go through. And without further ado, we'll make a start. So today we're going to be focusing on ClubV1 finance, in particular looking at the annual bill runs and raising payments. Just to introduce the session, we're going to be looking at the billing and payments, as I've just said, and we're going to have a live demonstration of how to raise your annual bills for your members. To start with, we've broken this down into 7 sections, and you'll be able to see these in your handouts. So section 1, we're going to be looking at the charge items, focusing on charge items and prices and setting those up in the system. We will also be looking at those optional charges, such as your lockers, perhaps, buggy sheds, bar levy, union fees, anything quirky that you might have at the golf club. So we'll be going through those, how to set those up. Then we'll be looking at your membership categories. So making sure your members are in the right membership category. Maybe your 7-day members want to move to 5-day or to social perhaps, but we'll also be looking at the age categories. So your junior under 18s moving up to colts, colts into intermediates perhaps, and maybe the other end of the spectrum as well. Maybe you have 7-day members that go into an over 80s category, for example. So we'll be looking at all of those in section 2. Section 3 will be exploring the discounts that you may have, so how to apply those discounts on an individual basis. Then we'll be moving on to bill layout and design. So there are 4 bill layouts in ClubV1. We'll be looking at how to set those as default and including any wording on those bills. Then we'll move into the actual billing process. So we'll be raising bills per membership category, and I'm going to show you how that works and how best to achieve those and reconcile them before you send them out to your members. Then we'll move on to the payments. So we'll be looking at individual payments and batch payment processes. And then lastly, we'll be looking at the membership reports in ClubV1. So looking at the billing audit report, who've billed, when you've billed them, and also the payment audit report. So who's paid their invoice and how they've paid that invoice. Okay, this webinar will not cover direct debit schemes and standing orders. We will do a separate webinar for this, so please keep an eye on ClubV1 for that, and in the near future we'll have another webinar on those topics. So we'll make a start. We're going to move into the live presentation now. So I'm just going to sidestep out of presentation, sorry, and we should be able to see There we go, perfect. So you should all be able to see that on my web browser now. So I'm just going to log into my demo account, which is what we're going to be using for today. So to start with, we're going to have a look at the ClubV1 finance section, and you can find that at the top of your screen by clicking finance. So section 1, we're going to be exploring the charge items in the system. So you can find that in the sub-tab here of charge items. Now I've already programmed 3 charge items in the system. So my England golf fees, men's county fees, ladies county fees. But what we're going to do to start with is create the charge item for subscriptions. Like so. You can add a nominal code if you want. So it's good for Sage accounting perhaps. Now what I'm going to do is the subscriptions, because the price varies per category, I'm actually not going to add a net or a gross value there. But what I'm going to do is enable that for my categories. And then I can choose which categories here I want to assign the subscription charge to. Let's press OK, and it's going to apply those to my 6 membership categories in the system. So we've got subscriptions now set up. At the bottom here, it shows us the category that charge has been applied to. However, at the moment, we don't have a price. So let's just press the edit button and we can add a price into the system. So my 7-day, let's just say £1,000. 5-day, we'll say 600. Junior 18, we'll say 100. Play more golf might be 250. My Colts might be 300. And my over 80s will say 650. Okay, let's press save. And that will apply the charge to all of those members in those categories. Okay, what we're going to do now is add on a few extra charge items, such as your lockers, your buggy sheds perhaps, bar levy if you want to do that. Same process, so you can click on the plus icon and the description. Let's call this one large locker. Okay, you can link it to an EPOS purse, which I'll show you in a second with the bar levy. Again, you've got the nominal code there. Now, because a large locker is a set price for all membership categories, in this example, I'm going to put £50. Would you like to enable this charge for all categories? We're going to say yes, because in theory, at my golf club, anybody can have a large locker, regardless of your category. So we're going to untick resigned, press OK, and add. That adds the large locker into the system. We're just going to do small locker as well. I'm not going to link it to the EPOS purse, no nominal code, just going to enter in our gross amount. We're going to enable that for all categories again, untick resigned, and press add. And that again adds it into the system. So we're starting to build along the left-hand side our different charge items here. Press the plus icon again. You may have noticed you can link a charge to your EPOS purse. So a really good example of that is your bar levy. So for example, some clubs might have a bar levy where members pay £50 and it automatically goes onto their swipe card to spend throughout the year. So what ClubV1 can offer is when you create a charge item, you can link that charge item to that purse. Now the benefit of doing that is that when a member pays off that invoice or that bill for that charge item, the ClubV1 will automatically pay off, will automatically allocate those funds onto that EPOS purse like we have here. So what I'm going to do is £50. Again, we're going to enable that for all categories. We'll take off play more golf this time and press add. Again, that adds it into the system. So as soon as a member is billed for their bar levy, because it's now linked to our EPOS purse, as soon as they pay off that bar levy, it will automatically be added to their EPOS account. So it saves you some admin time there, which is good. So obviously you can add in your buggies, your trolley sheds, maybe some clubs do like a clubhouse maintenance charge, all those kind of things. So just build those in on the left-hand side. So that is how you can build in your charge items. Now what we're going to do is just have a look at my demo membership here. I'm going to go to my finance tab. And you can see on the left-hand side now, I have got those charges applied. However, I potentially don't have a large locker or I don't have a small locker. Now, in my system, under membership, if I scroll down and go to additional info, I've got a field here for large locker and I've got a field here for small locker. So it's important to assign the locker charges or the buggy sheds, trolley sheds to the people that actually need that charge. Now we've created our large locker and small locker in the system. However, at the moment, all members have that charge applied. So actually that's incorrect. Now there's a very useful tool under finance and global charges, which you can automatically for everyone turn off charges or turn on charges for certain groups. So in here, we've got our charge items that we've created. Now I'm going to leave bar levy on because I'm going to say that's available to all members compulsory. The England golf fees, again, that's compulsory if you're a home member. Ladies golf fees, obviously they need to be assigned to the ladies in the system. Same for the male golf fees. So we'll make sure though the men in the system have those fees. But what we're going to do is focus on large locker to start with. So what I'm going to do is turn off large locker and I'm going to turn off small locker for everyone in the system. And then what we're going to do is turn on the charges for anyone who has a large locker number or a small locker number on their account. So first of all, let's turn it off. Let's press continue. And we're going to use our filter section on the left hand side. And I'm going to apply it to all members. Okay, so here's my database. And what that's going to do is going to turn off the large locker and the small locker for everyone. Let's press confirm. Just to double check that has turned off the charge, let's go back to my profile and let's go back to the finance section. So you now can see in my current charges, I do not have a large locker or a small locker, and that is applied for everyone. So the next thing to do is to go back to finance, back into global charges. Now we're going to treat the charges as individuals. So let's have a look at our large locker first. What we're going to do, you've got some actions here. So we're going to leave it with no change for all items apart from the large locker. This time we're going to use cat default, which is turning the charge on. Okay, so we just had a look at turning it off, but this time we're going to turn on the large locker for anyone who has a large locker number in the system. Press continue. And again, this is where we need to create our filter. So on the left-hand side, I'm going to build that filter in the system. And in my database, I've got a large locker number field. Okay, now I want everyone who has a locker number between 1 and 99999. Press apply. And this, in my system, I've got 7 members who have a large locker number. Okay, and we'll have a look at Mr. S. Barrett in a second. So press continue and press confirm. The system is going to turn on that charge for those people now. So we're starting to allocate the correct charges to the correct people. Just to double check that's worked correctly, let's go and have a look at Simon. And you'll see in the system here, he has got all of the fees correctly. He's got his large locker, but currently he doesn't have a small locker. So that's absolutely fine. The next stage is to turn on the small locker for anyone who's got a small locker. Let's go back into finance and back into global charges. On the left-hand side, you've got small locker. So this time, same process as we've just done. Cat default, press continue. This time, however, we don't want the large locker number filter. We're going to go back into add another field. Scroll down, and there's a field here called small locker number. Same process. We want anyone who's got a locker number between 1 and 999. Press apply. In my database, I've got 5 people. It's going to turn on those charges. Press confirm. You may have noticed Matt in my system, he didn't have a large locker, but he does have a small locker. So that's in the system there, okay? And again, his finance record, his current charges here reflect that. So he's got his small locker, but he doesn't have his large locker. Absolutely fine. Just to double check where that field is, if we go into membership, scroll down to additional info, press edit, you can see his small locker number is number 3. He doesn't have a large locker. That's where the data is coming from. Okay, so that's how you can assign your charge items there. Now on an individual basis, maybe a member comes in halfway through the year and they say they want a locker. Let's just clear away this filter and we'll go back to my full database. Let's have a look at David Boyce. So on his membership here, if we scroll down, and go down to additional info, you can see here that he does not have a large locker number and he doesn't have a small locker. So what we could do, let's imagine David has just come in and said he would like a large locker for the next year, 2021. So we can assign him the next available locker number and press save. Okay, that has added the locker number into David's profile, as you can see at the bottom, large locker number 19. However, there's one more step we need to remember to add. So let's just go to his personal finance, and all we need to do now is make sure we edit his current charges and turn on that large locker charge. Press save, and that adds it onto his account, and his invoice reflects that. Excellent. So that is section 1. That is how we can create our charge items and make sure everyone in the system is being billed correctly. The next thing we want to do is have a look at our membership categories. So in my system, I've got 7 membership categories. So let's just have a look at those. They're listed along the left-hand side, and it's quite useful because ClubV1 gives you a total of people in that category and a split between men and ladies. Now, as always, when raising your bills, inevitably people will ask, can I move from 7-day to resigned? Can I move from 5-day to 7-day? So we need to treat those members as individuals. So let's just go and have a look at somebody in the 5-day category. We can click on the 30 people here, and the system will take us to those 30 people in your 5-day category. If we use Joseph as our example here, let's imagine he has said, I want to move from 5-day to 7-day this year. Okay, so we can go to his record, we can press edit, we can go down to membership, and then you can see his current membership category here is the 5-day, and we can just simply change that to 7-day. Press save, and then he is now in the correct category, ready for invoicing a little later. If we just give that a refresh, you can now see Joseph doesn't meet the filter here. We just go and find him in the system. You can now see he is in the 7-day category. So that is how you can move members on an individual case-by-case basis when they ask to be moved into certain membership categories. Alternatively, you might have somebody say they want to leave. So if we use Steve Armstrong on the left-hand side, maybe Steve says, sorry, I'm going to resign my membership this year. Now, assuming our renewals, let's say they're on the 1st of January 2021, Steve is still paid for his membership for the rest of the year. So we don't want to resign him just yet because he's still a playing member for the rest of 2020. So what we can do, there's quite a clever tool in the system where we can schedule a category change for the future. Now, when you schedule a category change, the system is asking you, okay, well, he's in the 5-day category at the moment, but where is he moving to? So what we can do is we can, sorry, one sec, I just need to unhide my resigned category. Let's just go back in and unhide the category. So then we'll go back to Steve, back into directory, back to Steve. Now this time when we go to schedule a category change, the resigned category will appear. And there it is. So what we're going to do is the effective from date, we're going to put that as January the 1st, 2021. So he's still a playing member, still got his 5-day access rights until the end of the year. But on the 1st of January, he will obviously move into the resigned category. Okay. Also a good feature of the system is that when you do schedule a category change and we raise a bill for that date in the future, the system will recognize his new category and he won't receive a 5-day invoice. Perfect. So that is how you can move members on an individual case-by-case basis. There's one more thing I'd like to show you. If we go into the settings, on the left-hand side, there is a feature called category auto changes. Now in here, you can program in different rules of the system and the system will move members up by age. So let's just create a few rules in here. Let's call this one junior to Colt. Perfect. And the category they're going to move from is junior under 18, and the category they're going to move to is Colt 18 to 25. And at what age is this going to happen? That's going to happen on their 18th birthday. So you can see here, junior under 18, that's for under 18s obviously, and then we've got Cult 18 to 25. So as soon as they hit their 18th birthday, they should move up into the Cult category. Okay, press add. That is now built into the system. So as soon as a member hits their 18th birthday, they will automatically be moved up into the Cult category, and then you guys don't need to worry about moving them on an annual basis, because that can take quite a long time when raising your annual bills. However, there is another age category. So if we just go back into my system, I've got a category called over 80s. And what you can do, let's say the 7-day membership category, we're going to move them to the over 80s category, and again on their 80th birthday. Once you've programmed these rules, they will just sit in the system and just work behind the scenes. So it should save you some admin time when you actually come to raise those invoices for your renewals. Excellent, so they're now in the system, absolutely fine. But because we've created those now, the system will not look at those age rules and start moving people. So just before we move on, I'd like to have a look at our categories and start moving people based on their age. So there is a quick and easy way to do this. If we go into Club and have a look at our membership categories again, what we can do, let's take the junior under 18 category to start with. I've only got 2 people in there. And by clicking on the 2 people, the system creates a very quick filter of those 2 people. So here we've got 2 members, and you can see they're both 19 years old. So they're in the wrong category. So what I'm going to do here is press edit, just save and continue all the way to membership. And then simply on a case-by-case basis again, we just need to move these members into the correct categories. Okay, so just give that a refresh. We've now only got 1 member left in the system. So again, I'm just going to treat this member on an individual basis. Go to their membership profile here, go to the new membership category that they should be in, give that a refresh, and now all my juniors have successfully moved up into the category they should be in, which is Cult 18 to 25. I just want to check one more category, same as before. We'll have a look at the 7-day and just have a look at those over 80s. So again, click on the category, click on where it says 49 people, and it brings up those 49 people on the left-hand side. Quite useful. There is a button at the top here which allows you to arrange this in age order if you want. So let's click on age. And what that's done, it's filtered our 7-day members in age order here. So you can see we've got the oldest at the top and then the youngest at the bottom. Okay, so I'm just going to move these 2 members because they are over 80. Press edit. Let's just go to membership and let's move them into the correct category. And we'll just do that. Just go to the membership page, choose the new category, save and continue. Absolutely fine. If we just refresh that, we've now got 47 members there, and now everyone is in the right category, ready to be billed. Okay, so that's section 2, making sure everyone is in the right category. Section 3 is looking at discounts. So let's just use me as an example again. If we go back to my profile and we'll go to my finance tab, and you can see the current charges again on the left-hand side. So by pressing edit, you can see the current charges that are applied to my account. Now what we can do, maybe I'm a staff member, maybe I'm the captain this year, maybe I should receive a certain discount. So we've got the charge item of subscriptions here, and you've got your discount rates on the right-hand side. You do have the option of applying a percentage discount. So we could click percentage, and then in the discount here, we could do 50%, and that will give me 50% off. Alternatively, you can do a fixed amount discount. So let's say I want a £250 discount. So we put fixed amount, £250. And what we could say on the right-hand side, you can add a description. Captain's discount. Let's press save, and that will add that to my account here. Okay, captain's discount minus £250, and then my total reflects that, so it does get updated. You can have multiple discounts on a certain charge item. So there is a plus icon on the right hand side, and it'll allow me to add an extra discount onto that charge. So maybe it's captain's discount, maybe I did some work for the club, and you can add that in like so. Okay, so that is now reflected. If you do need to take the discount off, you can come into edit and you can simply put that back to 0, press save, and that will reflect it. However, if you do raise an invoice for that member with a discount, you do need to take it off in a slightly different way. It's classed as a previous discount, which I'm going to show you a little later. So those are your discounts. So the next thing to do before we can start raising our invoices is to have a look at the bill layout. Now there are 4 different layouts of bill, and we maybe want to add some wording onto the bill, perhaps bank details. So first of all, let's go into the settings of the system. And on the left-hand side, there is a button here called Letters and Bills. Now in here, you can set your default bill layout. We've given you 4 to choose from. So you've got Simple, Grid, Metro, and Metro White. And I'm going to show you all 4 examples in a second. You do have some options here for your bill layout. So you can print the schemes, direct debit schemes perhaps. You can have a remittance slip. So that's the little slip at the bottom of the invoice, which sometimes members do give back to the club. You can show prepaid. So some members might prepay in advance, and that will reflect on their bill. So perhaps it would say you're going to be billed for £1,000. You've already prepaid £200, so your invoice totals £800. You can also use your own letterhead. So this is available to users that are going to print your invoices, not email them. What that does, it just moves the bill down ever so slightly, and then you can print the invoice on your nice letter-headed paper, which does look very nice. Lastly, you can show previous balance. That's any previous balance that is outstanding from last year's invoice. Okay, just moving down, you can show member record number if you want, and you can change the record label here. And then we've got 2 text boxes. Now, we're not going to be talking about direct debits today, but you can choose the wording there to appear above your direct debit schemes. More importantly, what we're interested in today is the text to appear on the bill item. So what you can enter here is custom text that you may want on your invoice. In my example, I've put my bank details. If you wish to pay via BACS, please use account number and sort code and state your surname as a reference. Always quite useful when going through those bank statements. If you wish to pay by credit card or cash, please visit the office to make those payments. Alternatively, you can pay via the ClubV1 members app or the club website if you've got those services enabled. So it's good to be nice and clear on the bill there, and give the different payment options to your members. Now, if you have got the remittance slip turned off, there is no word limit here, which is why you can have it quite, you can have maybe a welcome message or these extra details like I have. However, if you turn the remittance slip on, you are limited in terms of your characters here, so just bear that in mind. And that's why I'm going to keep my remittance slip off. Okay, let's press save. And that updates those settings. So now let's go and have a look at our bill layouts. So let's use me as an example. Now I've already raised an invoice for myself. However, we're going to come back and have a look at that in a second. Just focusing on those 4 bill layouts. I'm going to show you how they look and feel. So what we can do is click on the bill on my record, press the print icon, and at this point I can then choose which bill layout I want. It's just a good process so I can show you those bills. So let's have a look at the simple layout first. This is the simple layout. Now what I've done, I've included my own letterhead, so it's bumped it down here so I could print that on nice branded paper. It's got my details here, and it's got my bill date, due date details on the right hand side. Then it's got some text, which is what we were just talking about. If you wish to pay by BACS, if you want to pay by cash or credit card, or if you want to pay online. Then it's got my charge items here, so it lists all the charges that I'm going to be invoiced for. And in my example here, it does show the direct debit scheme. Again, we're not going to go into too much detail there today. So that is the simple layout, okay? Let's just close that down and let's have a look at the other 3 designs. Press print again. I'm going to turn off schemes this time. We'll turn off the letterhead as well, and we'll have a look at grid. So grid, in my opinion, looks a bit more professional. It's quite boxy, but I think it looks really, really effective. So it's got club details now at the top because we've taken off the letterhead. It's got bill details top right hand corner, my personal details there, any text underneath, and then it's got those charge items, and it does have space for a remittance slip if you do want to include that. Okay, so it's quite a good design. I know a lot of golf clubs do like to go for that grid layout. Let's close that one down. Let's have a look at the two remaining designs. We'll go Metro, we'll turn off schemes, turn off letterhead, press generate. Obviously you can set those as default if you want to not print schemes and not use your own letterhead. This design here, again, clubs do like this. It's one that you probably will email, maybe not print, because obviously it is in color. So clubs do like to email this design. It's nice and clear. It says please pay, and it gives you the total at the top. Again, it's got our wording here, the charge items underneath, and the golf club details at the bottom. Now this layout for ClubV1 Ultimate users, you can change the color, so you can start to brand your invoices. Now at the moment, that's only available on ClubV1 Ultimate packages. Just close that down. And lastly, we'll have a look at our last bill layout, which is Metro White. Very similar to what we've just seen with the Metro design, but this one is the black and white version. Again, a lot of clubs like to use this template. Again, it's got the big please pay at the top, got your wording, charge items, and all the details at the bottom. Okay, so my personal preference, I'm going to go for the Metro White. So let's just go back into my settings. And on the left-hand side, we've got letters and bills. And I'm going to change my default layout here to Metro White. And then that will set it at Metro White for every time we raise an invoice going forwards. Okay. So that concludes section 4. So we've gone through category charges. We've had a look at our membership categories, made sure everyone's in the right category and being billed what they should be billed. We've had a look at some of our discounts, and we've just had a look at the bill layouts. So that is traditionally the prep work involved of going through making sure everyone is being invoiced for what they should be invoiced for. So the next step is actually to raise those invoices. Now, in the finance section of ClubV1, on the left-hand side, there is an annual bills guide. This effectively walks you through what we've just been going through. So you can set your prices, you can have a look at your schemes, your discounts, make sure everyone's in the right category. So we've just been through that. So we're not going to go through that now. So let's go back to finance. And what we're going to focus on this time is actually raising those invoices. So on the left-hand side, there's a button that says annual bills. So you can access it through here, or you can go into the bills sub-tab, and you can go into bill runs, and you can raise your invoices for your members. So back into finance, let's use the quick link on the left-hand side, annual bills. Now, what we'd recommend, especially if you've got a large membership base, is you raise your invoices per membership category. So on the left-hand side, it's important to create our filter and then filter our 5-day members, then our 7-day members, then our juniors, our colts, and so on. So just starting afresh, on the left-hand side, let's go add another field. Let's go to membership category, press add. The system is then asking us which membership category we want to choose. You can select all and you can unselect all like so. Let's do our 5-day members to start with. So press OK and press apply filter. And it brings up those 29 5-day members. The reason why we like to do it per category is because it reduces the margin for error. If you raise them per category and you get something wrong, it's easier to go back and change it. Whereas if you raise the invoices for your entire membership, it can be very time consuming to go through and make the changes if there's any mistakes. So that's why we recommend to do it per membership category. Now, when you go through into your bill run screen here, at the top, you've got your description. Again, we always recommend changing this to the category name and the year that we're billing for. So let's do 2021, like so. So 5-day 2021. Then the system is showing us the default bill start number. So in my system, I've already raised 445 invoices before. So the first bill in this bill run is going to be bill number 446, as you can see. Then it's got the bill date and the due date. Now we said earlier on that our due date is going to be the 1st of January, like so. So let's just say the bill date is the 1st of January, the due date is also the 1st of January. The next tab down is include previous discounts. Now this is actually a good function to turn off, because you may remember when we set a discount for me as a member earlier on in the session, that discount, when you invoice and it's being billed for, once you take off that discount, it then becomes a previous discount. Now what this is asking us here is, do we want to include any previous discounts from last year? If we say yes, I'm going to receive my discount again, which we don't want to do. So I'm going to say no in this example, and that's going to turn off my discount going forwards. Okay, you can include loan discounts. I know these aren't too common anymore, to be honest, at golf clubs, but going back a few years, members may loan the golf club money and receive a certain discount off their invoice. So you can set out loan discounts, and you can set up service discounts as well. That will be included in another webinar session. Okay, lastly at the bottom, we've got edit bill text. Scrolling down, it's got our default text that we've already created here, so we're happy with that. Let's press continue. And then the next section is to actually raise those invoices. So let's press raise bills. And that raises our 28 bills in this case. Obviously, that must mean there's one member in our 5-day category that shouldn't be billed. Maybe they're a current captain or something like that. So we've got our invoices here. However, it's really important to check over those invoices before we start sending them out. Now, a little tip, it's included in the handout. If you click on the word amount, it does sort the columns here in amount order, either highest to lowest or lowest to highest. So I always recommend that you do click on that word amount, and it sorts it really clearly in amount order. So you can see who is paying the most and why, and who is paying the least and why. And if you maybe at this point you do need to make some changes. So I can see at the top here, this member is being billed the most. That's because they've got England golf fees, men's fees, ladies fees, which is obviously incorrect. Subscriptions, large locker, small locker, bar levy. So this example, it looks like this member does have a large locker and a small locker, but there's a mistake here, ladies county fees. So what we need to do is turn off the lady fees for the men and turn off the male fees for the ladies. So we've made a mistake here. So what we can do is we can undo this bill run and we can start again. Okay, so let's just go back to finance. Remember at the start of the session, you can globally turn on or off charges. So let's do that. We just need to take care of the men and the ladies fees. Inevitably, when you raise the bills, this is always going to happen. There's always going to be some mistakes. It's very, very rare you'll get it right first time. So it's always good practice to raise those invoices, check over them, and then go back and make any changes that you may need to make. So what we're going to do is turn off the ladies fees. Press continue, and we're going to do that for all of the men. So again, it's really good to use our filter on the left-hand side. This time we're going to use gender. And we're going to turn off the ladies fees for all men. Okay, press continue and press confirm. So that should help things. Now what we're going to do is the reverse. So we're going to turn off the male fees. Press continue. And we're going to do that for the ladies. Okay, there we go. Press confirm, and that's turned off those fees for the ladies. So let's just have a look. Let's just go back to Tim. He has now got his England golf fees, his male fees. Perfect. We've got some ladies on the left-hand side, so let's just check those. Mrs. A.K. Smith, we've got England golf fees correct, ladies golf fees correct. Perfect. So let's have another go at raising those invoices. Back into finance, back into annual bills. We need to create our filter again. So remember, we need to do it per membership category. So let's just build that onto the left-hand side and go into category here. And we're going to do our 5-day membership category again. Press OK, press apply filter. It brings up those 29 people. Press continue. And again, we just need to give that bill run a description. 5-day member 2021, perfect. And again, let's just give the bill a date, 1st of January, due date, 1st of January. Everything else there is okay. Let's just say no to previous discounts, press continue, and press raise bills. Now I've just remembered why it's saying 28 rather than 29. At the start of the presentation, we moved one member from 5-day into resign, but we scheduled it so it's going to happen on the 1st of January. Now, because we've raised these invoices for the 1st of January, that member has been excluded from this bill run, which is fantastic. So this time, let's click on the word amount and we'll have a look at our membership. That looks much better. We move down, we can double check these. So no lockers in this example. So, Mr. A Society here has got a large locker, absolutely fine. So I'm happy those bills look correct. I always like to check at the bottom just in case anybody is missing a charge that they should be charged for. And in this example, it all looks okay. So I'm happy. Now we can continue the process. Let's go back into add bill run here. This time we can change the category. So let's go to 7-day category this time. Press OK, press apply, and this time it brings up our 47 members in that category. Press continue. Again, let's just give it a description. Seven-day member 2021. Starting bill number, you'll notice it's starting to go up now. Then we've got our bill date. So let's go for January the 1st again. Include previous discounts, let's set that to no. Press continue and press raise bills. Excellent, so now we've got our 7-day members here. Let's just double check these again. Remember to click on the word amount and it sorts into amount order. Lindsay has got her lady fees, perfect. She's got a large locker again. Very happy with that. Just check a few others. Everything there looks good. Just check the bottom again. Perfect. So I'm happy with that. Now what you can do is just keep repeating the cycle until you've raised all your invoices. The invoices will sit in the system. They're not, they haven't been sent to any member at the moment. Okay, so you'll go through, raise all your invoices. Once you're happy with them and check them, then you can send them to your members. So let's take our 7-day member category here. Press the print icon to actually send out those invoices. Press print bill run. And at this point, you can then either print all of the invoices or at the bottom, you've got some other options. So print all will print all the invoices. Print only will only print for the people without an email address. Email/print will email for the ones who do have an email address and print for the ones who don't. So that's very, very useful. A lot of golf clubs do go for that example. And then you've got email only as well. So that will only email for the members that do have an email address. And if they don't have an email address, it's going to exclude them. Now, I know some clubs do like to print all of them. And then what they'll do as well is then they'll do email only. So then everyone gets a hard copy and everyone also gets an email copy. Let's do email print in this example. I always like to change the email subject there. So I would say annual subscriptions 2020, 2021, for example. Okay, then you can add attachments. So that might be a captain's welcome, it might be a fixture list, new bar menu, anything you want there. So if you just press the plus icon, it looks at your folder and you can add attachments from there. Okay, at the bottom, you can then start to compose your email. Okay, so let's say, dear member, please find attached invoice for 2020, 2021 at Woods Golf Club. They say many thanks, the manager. Okay, once you're happy with that, press generate. It will send the invoices for the ones who do have an email, and it will create a PDF document for you for the ones who don't have an email, so you can then print off those invoices. Okay, and then you just need to repeat the cycle. So just do it for 7-day members, do it for 5-day members, do it for your juniors, and so on and so on and so on. Then you've sent out the invoices. So that's your bill run complete. The next thing to do is to focus on payments. So who has paid? We'll look at individual payments and we'll look at batch payments. Okay, so all of the invoices have gone out. We'll have a look at individual payments to start with first, and then we'll have a look at the batch payments. So let's imagine I have come into the golf club and I've paid off my invoice. Come in. Or potentially I've paid online or through the club website or the app. So here's my outstanding invoice, and you can see there is the invoice that we've just raised. So if we click on the plus icon on an individual basis, press add payment, and then you can say the date received. You can enter the amount. Let's just see, the invoice was for 1,070, so let's do 1,070. You can add a reference or a description. This isn't to specify the media type though. Underneath you can specify the media, and we always recommend you do that because it's very easy to report on your cash payments, your check payments, your bank transfer payments if you specify how the member is paid. Okay, so let's say this is bank transfer. Now the reference or description, you could use this to say first installment or has paid joining fee, those kind of things, okay? We'll leave that blank for now. And we'll come back to this setting here. So you can add payments to a batch, but we're going to go through that in a second. Press continue. Then the system is working out the allocation. So I've paid 1,070. It's just frozen on me there. Getting to the crunch time. Okay, perfect. We're in. So entered my total 1,070 like so. Now there are a lot of items outstanding, so this is not how it normally looks, but then it's down to you guys to assign the correct allocations to those charge items. Now I know, let's just work this out. So we've got subscriptions. This is the one I've just billed myself for. So let's allocate £1,000 to that. We've got £50 for bar levy. We've got £10 for England golf fees, and we've got £10 there for men's fees. Okay, let's just put the others back to zero. In a normal example, you wouldn't need to do this because the member would have one invoice outstanding, and that would be reflected with these fees here. Okay, so normally it would just pull through those, and it's very, very easy then to allocate the payment automatically. Press continue, and then it gives you a confirm payment page where you can then just double check over that payment, make sure it's all allocated correctly. Press finish, and that will cash off that outstanding invoice for the member. Okay, now it is possible for the member to underpay, leaving a remaining balance on their account, and it is possible for the member to overpay, which would leave a credit on their account. Okay, so that's an individual payment process. Let's go back to the finance page, and we'll have a look at the batch payment process now. So under finance, you've got payments here, or again on the left-hand side, you've got add batch payment. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at adding a batch payment here. Okay, so we've got the post date is today. Let's forward date that to the 1st of January. The due from, again, we need to put that as the 1st of January because that's when we said to the system, that's when we're raising our invoices for next year. So the due from and the due to, we set when we actually raise those invoices as the 1st of January. Now the theory here for your batch payments is you would specify different batches for different payment medias. So for example, you would have a cash batch, you would have a check batch, you'd have a credit card batch, you'll have a bank transfer batch, and so on. Okay, so let's say this batch here is our bank transfer batch. Press continue. Now, all of these payments are the outstanding ones that we've just raised. And what we can do is untick those, and then we can simply go through and tick the people that have actually paid. Okay, so let's just go through and tick a few people. Now remember, these are the people that have just paid via bank transfer. So I'm going through my bank statement here, looking at anybody, and I can then tick off the members that I know have just paid via backs. There is an easier way, so you can search for surname, like so, and you can tick those people off. Alternatively, you can search by bill number. like so. So my invoice here is 445. There's my reference number of 445. Press confirm, and that will cash off my invoice. Now I'm getting that number from the actual bill that maybe the member has given back or stated in their reference on the bank statement. Press continue. The system is then telling us we've selected 12 items, and it's giving us a total here of 12,105. Okay, if that reconciles with what we've got from our bank statement, we're more than happy to continue. Press the tick box here and then press confirm, and then it's going to cash off those 12 invoices. Okay, and you can see here it's cashed off as our payment batch. Perfect. Now, if you want to, you can always keep adding to that payment batch. So maybe you get another batch next week of bank transfer payers. We can go into the plus icon, and then you can choose if you want to add into an existing batch or create a new one. So we've got payment batch number 5, which we know is our cash one. It's got all the same details there. Press continue, and then it's going to have the remaining balances that are outstanding. Okay, same process again. You can search by surname or you can search by reference number. Excellent. So that is how you can pay off those invoices. So we've just looked at individual payments, and we've just had a look at batch payment processes. So that is how you can complete your annual bill run. Lastly, we'll have a look at some reports. So in reports in ClubV1, you've got membership. Now there are some good membership reports in here. So like I mentioned at the start, you've got the billing audit report, you've got the payment audit report. There is also an outstanding balance report. So it's going to show you who has got an outstanding balance, unallocated monies report, who's got a credit on their account, or unallocated monies. So let's just have a look at those. First of all, let's have a look at our outstanding balance report. Now you can generate that as a HTML report or as a PDF, or if you want to, you can download it as a CSV. Let's have a look at it in HTML though. So you can apply a filter, save filter maybe, or you can do it per membership category, and you can include deleted or hidden categories as well. Let's press print. This is going to show us all of the members in my system who's got an outstanding balance. So very simply, let's just take the top row. So we've got the member name, the category, how much they owe, and then it gives us the breakdown of all those charge items. We can see we've got England golf fees, men's county fees, ladies county fees, subscriptions, large locker, bar levy, and so on. Okay. At the very, very bottom, it does give us a total that is outstanding, and it gives us total outstanding per charge item, which can be very, very useful. Okay, so that is the outstanding balance report. Unallocated monies will show anyone who's got unallocated money on their account, such as a credit. In my system, nobody has unallocated monies, which is good. Okay, let's have a look at the billing audit report now. So again, you can view it as HTML, or you can view it as PDF, or at the top, you can download it as CSV again. Let's have a look at HTML. Again, you can apply a filter. So any save filters you've got in the system, or a membership category. Now remember, I did the start date here as the 1st of January and the 1st of January. So let's just report on that. You can choose a detailed report or a summary. Detail will list all member names and the items, whereas a summary will just show per category. Okay, you've got a few extra items here of how you want to group the report. Do you want to show payment media? Those kind of things. Let's press print, and that'll generate that report. And you can see here, these are all the people that we've billed for the 1st of January. Okay, so again, it groups it into categories. So it's got the 5-day membership category first. If we scroll down, it's got the 7-day category, and it would have the juniors and the intermediates and the over 80s and so on. Okay, so what we've got here shows us the bill run, the due date, the record number for the member's name, how much is billed, how much is outstanding, if there's any VAT, and then it's got those charge items that we've been talking about. Okay, now somebody in here, you can see they've already paid off their invoice because we've just processed a batch payment for them. So you can see we've billed them, however, there is no money outstanding. Now, if we scroll right down to the bottom of the report, it does give you totals here. So you can see we've billed for the 5-day members 18,935. However, only 17,595 is outstanding. Okay, and over time, as more and more people pay, obviously that figure will come down. So it's a really useful report, the billing audit report, just to reconcile those invoices. Let's have a look at the payment order report. Same process. You can download a CSV, PDF, or you can view as HTML. And similar settings to the billing audit report, you can specify your date ranges. Now, I think we processed the payment as today's date, so let's leave it as today, and we'll see what happens. Again, you can apply your filter, and you've got your different types for the report here. So how you want to group it, how do you want to order that report. Let's press print. Hopefully that brings up some payments, which it does. Fantastic. So that's our batch that we just processed 5 minutes ago. So here we've got the membership category, the batch they're in, the member's name and how much they've paid and how they've paid, more importantly. Okay, so again, really, really good for reporting. And then it shows the items that they paid for and how much was paid as a total there. Okay, just going back to the report here, one thing I want to show you as well is when you do generate this report at the bottom, you can specify your payment media. So if you want to report on all payment medias, you can obviously report on all. However, you can press other, and in here, you can specify which payment media you want to report on. So maybe you want to report on just cash payers, or just check, just your direct debits, just your credit card payers, Fairway Credit perhaps. You can do so, okay? And then the report will be generated and show you who has paid via that payment method. Okay, one more report I want to show you before we finish the session. We've got the membership profile report. Always a good report to just have a snapshot of your membership in terms of categories, membership figures, estimated revenue, as you can see here, and any outstanding balances, like so. Now, it's always a live report, this, so it's important that you perhaps generate this every single month to get those accurate membership figures. Okay, well, that concludes our finance section. What we've gone through today is our charge items. We've had a look at setting up new charge items and allocating those to the correct members. We've had a look at our membership categories, made sure everyone is in the right category based on their age and any individual preferences on a case-by-case basis. Then we've had a look at discounts, setting those discount rates per members, maybe your captain, anyone who's done work for the club. Then we've had a look at bill layouts, so choosing one of the 4 designs that we've got, adding text onto those invoices. Then we've raised the invoices per membership category and just double check those to make sure they're all okay. Then we've sent the invoices out to the members. Then we've gone through batch payments and individual payments. And lastly, we've just gone through the reports of the system. Okay, thank you very much. We've got some time for some questions now. Hopefully you found that session very, very useful. Let's have a look at some questions that we've got here then. We'll bring Darren and Matt back into the room, I think.
I think between us, we've managed to answer most. I think Leslie's just repeated a question she may have asked earlier, which is, could we see an invoice with a discount on it?
Okay, fine. Let's have a look.
Thanks, Leslie.
Let's just go back to me. I'm going to have to apply a discount very quickly. So let's do subs. We'll do 50% and we'll go percentage. Well, captain's discount looks good. Let's press save. That then applies that to my current charges. However, I'm going to need to re-raise an invoice for me with that discount now. So let's press the plus icon, press create bill. Just go through the bill wizard again. You've got the prices this time. Once it continues. May have frozen at the very end.
Done well. Done well with all the internet.
Here we go.
There we go.
Let's try again. Oh, it's come through this time. So let's just go back to prices as it skipped that step. So we've got our discount here, okay? So captain's discount at 50%, obviously from the 1,000 there. If you want to, you can add additional charges or additional discounts at this point, perhaps pro rata. So some clubs do use that for members joining halfway through the year. So let's press continue. And we've got our Metro White layouts, which is all good. Let's press finish, and that will raise that invoice, and we can have a look at an invoice now with a discount. Scrolling down, you can see there. So it's got the fees and it's got the discount at the bottom with my new total. Okay, hopefully that helps. The members will see that as well. So if you do look in the ClubV1 app, the members will be able to see the charge item there and the discount. Okay, any other questions, Darren?
Yes, we've got a couple. 1 second. So we have once, and I think Matt might have answered this one, but once an invoice is raised and sent, can it be changed?
It can but can't at the same time. So there is a button called Edit Charges. Let's just go into the settings. I'm going to go to Letters and Bills, and at the bottom there is an Edit Charges button. So let's just say yes to that and press save. Let's just go back to my profile again. Now this is a really good example of someone. Let's say you've invoiced for me for a locker, but I've decided that I've received my invoice now and I actually don't want my locker for the next year. So you can edit the bill at this point. You don't need to delete the invoice, okay? So when we go to annual bill, you don't need to delete it and change it here. So let's go and process a payment. Well, let's just have a look at my figures. Let's say I'm going to pay, I don't have a locker actually, let's just add one. I think Matt Bergh has got a locker, let's use him as an example. Perfect. However, he has no invoice. Let's create a quick bill. Great, so at this point, because we've now enabled edit charges, let's press the plus icon, add payment, and we'll say Matt doesn't want his small locker, so that's £25. So let's say he's going to pay $7.20, and we'll do debit card. Press continue. At this point, you can now edit those charges. So he doesn't want a small locker. Let's press edit charges. Should pull through a delete symbol here. Or not. Let's continue. Okay, that's taken it off. Press finish. So you can. That is one method of editing those bills. You can edit those charges there. Alternatively, you can delete the bill and re-raise it.
Okay. Thanks, Alex. I'll just go through a couple more before we finish off the webinar. I'm sure we could be another hour answering questions, but what we do is only that we haven't answered live on the actual webinar or answered via text, myself and Matt. Afterwards, we will answer them and we'll give everybody a copy of the question and answers that have been submitted, along with a copy of the handout and a link to revisit the video. We'll be doing that on Monday next week. So we'll just do a couple more for now. I'll just go down them. Can you add different, this is from Catherine, can you add different amounts on the same category through global charges? Can you show the total balance on the invoice?
You can actually, yeah. So in global charges, there is also the ability to globally apply discounts. So when you go to global charges, you can show discount settings. Okay. So when, let's say for subscriptions, cap default, when you turn on that charge, or that's the charge we're going to affect, it does give you the ability to change the discounts as well. So you can clear away those discounts from everyone, or you can replace the discounts. Now, again, what we could do here, this is doing it for everyone that we're going to choose in that filter. So replacing discounts, you have the option of choosing a percentage discount or a fixed amount. Let's just do £50. and we'll call it test discount. Press continue. Okay, and again, at this point, you need to choose your filter. The system's chosen the 7-day category, so let's apply it to all 7-day members. Press continue, press confirm. Now, all of our 7-day members have just had a discount applied to their invoice. So just to double check that, let's go and have a look at them. And press 7-day, 47 members. It lists those 47 members along the left-hand side. Now you can see here, they have received test discount minus 50, test discount minus 50, test discount minus 50. Okay, and that'll be for every 7-day member. Now to clear away those discounts, we can go back to finance, back into global charges, show discount settings. Again, we just need to repeat the process essentially. So what we're going to do is clear discounts, press continue. Let's remember the filter from earlier, press confirm, and it's going to wipe those discounts clean. And we'll just have to quickly double check that's worked. Back to 7-day, and this time no discount has applied. Okay, should we do one more, Darren?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think we've got time for one more. Let's go back up to the top. I think I saw one from, is there a facility to send a reminder or statement to those who have not yet paid their invoice? From Vicky Weston.
Yes, so you can use the communications facility in ClubV1. If you go to mailing, we'll call this reminder unpaid invoice. Obviously, you can change that, the wording if you need to. This is where you can use the insert data and the body of the email. So you could say something like, dear member, your account balance is, and then we could go insert account balance, and it's going to pull through their outstanding account balance. If this is unpaid by X date, come in and see the office, something like that. You should get the idea. Now the next screen is the important part. So we've created our email there. Obviously you can add attachments, but we want to filter anyone who's got an outstanding balance. So we can go add another field. We've got balance, and we want to look at people who've got, let's say 9999. So these 89 people in the system have a balance of more than a penny. And if I continue, they will receive an email saying your account balance is, the system will throw in their account balance in there. And then obviously you can finish off the email message there.
Okay, Alex, thanks very much. There are some unanswered questions on there still, but as I say, we will answer those retrospectively for you, send you a copy of the questions and answers, copy of the handout, and a link to you to the recording of the webinar on Monday, hopefully by Monday, 5 o'clock, but it may take a little bit of time with some editing, so we'll get that across to you as soon as we can. But that's all from me, I think.
Great, yeah. All from me, thank you. Thanks for your time, everyone, and look forward to the next webinar. Great.
Take care.
Thank you.